Today on Up Front, the battle over the balance of power. Governor Walker signs the lame duck session bills while Governor-elect Evers vows to fight against the new laws. I'll ask Republican Senate President Roger Roth what happens next. Then, is a government shutdown just days away? Congresswoman Gwen Moore on the battle of wills over the wall and whether Democrats will give the president money to build it. Plus, the sheriff and the Russian agent. The latest developments in an espionage scandal touching former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clarke.
Covering the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Up Front with Mike Goucher.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Up Front. History will ultimately be the judge, but Wisconsin's outgoing and incoming governors tried last week to shape the question of legacy, Governor Scott Walker's legacy. On Friday, the governor, with no vetoes, signed the Republican extraordinary session bills that Democrats called a power grab. The governor said hype and hysteria surrounded the bills, which he said are ultimately not a core shift and will keep some Republican policies and programs in place.
But when you look at the executive authority of the governor of the state of Wisconsin, it's one of the most powerful in the nation, and that will remain no matter what happens with this legislation.
The Democratic governor-elect, Tony Evers, responded, saying Walker disregarded the will of the people.
I will be reviewing our options and will do everything we can to make sure the people of this state are not ignored or overlooked.
Walker's bill signing came one day after the governor and his economic development agency struck a $28 million deal that will keep Kimberly-Clark's Fox Crossing plant and nearly 400 jobs in the Fox Valley. Appleton Republican State Senator Roger Roth, the Senate president, worked for months to reach this agreement, and he joins us now from our Green Bay affiliate, WBAY-TV. Senator, it's good to have you back on the program, and I don't want to relitigate the extraordinary session legislation, but I do want to ask you about something that's relevant to this conversation, and that is the fact that Governor Walker had the power to make this kind of deal and that Tony Evers will not have the power to make this kind of deal. Why was it good policy for Governor Walker? Why is it not good policy for Tony Evers?
Well, this is a terrific thing here for Northeast Wisconsin, for the workers at the facility, for our economy, really in our entire state. I think a lot has been overblown in the talking about how Governor Evers won't have the ability to do this in the future. In truth, the legislature has previously authorized WDC to create up to 30 economic development zones. And the legislation that was passed a week and a half ago, that allows the increase above 30, with the only thing they have to do to get that is to come to Joint Finance for passive review. So it actually empowers a future governor, any future governor, to exceed the 30 cap that is right now. All they have to do to exceed that is go to Joint Finance for passive review. So I don't think in any way, shape, or form it constricts a future governor. I actually think that it empowers them to be able to do economic development like we saw the governor unveil last week.
I want to get a sense of the final deal here and whether in some respects you think this was a better deal for taxpayers in the state of Wisconsin than the original deal that was discussed, the one that could not pass the legislature and was worth more than $100 million.
Yeah, well, it wasn't the road we started out on 11 months ago, but I don't really care so much how we got there as long as we did get there, and that's what we saw. There are taxpayer protections. Both contracts were performance-based. Both contracts had requirements and thresholds that the company had to abide by. The bill that we had put forward, that was a 15-year contract. This one is a 5-year contract. The bill was somewhere around $100 million. This one is $28 million. So really, when you look at it, it's about the same. But the great news is we were able to get it done. We were able to secure those jobs here, and we were able to secure the economic supply chain for those 237 other Wisconsin businesses.
I think we can all understand why this is certainly great news for workers and their families in the Fox Valley. But make the case for why this is good legislation for the taxpayers of Wisconsin. Many of them will not see direct benefits from this. Why is it a good deal for them?
Well, I think it's important. We need a vibrant economy and we need a healthy ecosystem when it comes to the kinds of businesses that we have. And Kimberly-Clark, this is an anchor business within an anchor industry in Wisconsin. So when the state of Wisconsin steps forward to help out a company like Kimberly-Clark, it's not just helping out one company. It's not just helping out the 400 family supporting jobs that will be retained. Those are good things. But on a larger scale, this is keeping intact a supply chain of 237 other Wisconsin businesses. These are small, medium, and large size businesses that employ thousands all across the state of Wisconsin. So by doing things like this, targeted things like this, in protecting these anchor businesses, we're actually protecting that supply chain and businesses all across the state.
Tom Nelson, the Democratic county exec in Outagamie County up in your neck of the woods, obviously said this is great news for the workers, especially before Christmas. But he had some questions, and one of those questions is, what happens the next time a company that employs a significant number of workers in the state of Wisconsin comes to the state and says, look, we need financial help or we're going to have to close our plant? What happens?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think you're going to see largely play out what we saw here, which is you're going to have legislators and hopefully a governor take a look at the situation, take a look at the company, take a look at what's involved, the amount of jobs, and see if it's appropriate for the state to step in. In the case of Kimberly-Clark, there isn't any defined threshold, for a state to offer these incentives, but if you look at a company like Kimberly-Clark, they are retaining almost 400 family supporting jobs at the facility. It's keeping intact the 2,500 jobs they have in the state of Wisconsin, and they're coming to commit to put $200 million of new investment here into the area. That's significant. That's a significant threshold they've crossed, and if there are other companies that can match that in both in jobs, in retention, and in dollars invested, I think the state should give them serious consideration.
Briefly, Senator, I've got just a short time left here, but I do want to ask you a bottom line question, and that is, you're the Senate President. Do you think what's happened in the last couple of weeks, the extraordinary session, the legislation that was passed, do you think that's done serious damage to the ability to work with Democrats in the state legislature or to work with the incoming governor, Tony Evers?
I don't think so. I think that we're in a pretty good spot here. I've actually had a conversation with Governor-elect Evers a few weeks ago, and I'm looking forward to working with him. I think what you saw about a week and a half ago when those bills were passed is the end result here is there will be more legislative oversight in a lot of areas, but no power was taken away from the governor. Power was not taken away from the attorney general. Just some common sense oversight measures put into place. And I'm looking forward. I mean, we're at an interesting spot here. I've worked with the Democrat governor before when I was in the assembly. And to make things work in Wisconsin, we're going to have to roll up the sleeves and work together. And I think you're going to see that cooperation on both sides.
State Senator Roger Roth, the Senate President, joining us on the satellite today. Thanks very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Coming up next on Upfront, I'll ask a top Milwaukee Democrat about the new limits on early voting in that legislation, plus the likelihood of a federal government shutdown. President Trump and Democratic congressional leaders in a showdown over the wall.
Upfront with Mike Goucher, brought to you by the American Transmission Company and the Wisconsin Corn Growers Association.